So the editor for is another helper. We don't have to specifically say what type of display we want. Based upon the data type, this helper is able to display the right type of control, basically. So if you have a string, it comes as a text box. If you have as a, let's see, if you have a boolean, it comes as a checkbox, stuff like that. So it is intelligent enough to actually like figure out what type of control that you want to display. So that happens. So that is what we have here as editor. So our title is going to come as a text box. Again, price is going to come as a text box. This is some description, that's also a text box. So here I explicitly want to show see, this I have as editor for, and that's why it was coming really weird. But it knew, like if you see my editor, so I'm calling the editor for, and it's applying this form control or some kind of attribute to like show my checkbox really large. It's weird. So if I just say checkbox for here, change this, it's going to be the same. So if you see my editor, see here, all I did was I called for editor for in stock. Because it's a boolean, it is automatically showing me the checkbox. It's not showing me a text box, it's showing me a checkbox. So I mean, that's what an editor for is. It's kind of like a lazy way. We let the helper do all the work for us. So that's what's happening. Action link, we saw about this a little bit before. This is another HTML helper. This is where you create like a ahref, like in HTML. It's just giving us a link back. So the one cool thing is we just are not like creating links. We want to actually go to a specific action. So that is the cool thing about this action. So it says, okay, what is the text I want to display and where should I take them? And here it says, take them to the index action name. So that makes sense. So let's see what else is there. You can also give route values here. So if we want to like call a different controller, we can like give that also there, which we are not doing right now. So that is action link. Action link creates a ahref. Let's see that. Right, back to list. So let's click here. Click here. Ahref. So it is saying go to /store manager because it's index page. That is the route it's taking me to. Okay. What else? What we are covering in this class, it's a pretty simple lesson. Last week was a little bit more heavy hitting. So what we learned, just to summarize for this class, what I want to talk about really quick and summarize is, we saw how to write. We added a method called as test action method, and then here we saw how to write some link queries and then changed that to link extensions, and we learned how to send select lists or any other object to a view bag and access it from a view. We also saw how if we also looked at like edit basically, right? To see, instead of sending just a view bag, how to send an actual object, a complex object, and how it is being accessed. We talked about form, the HTML helpers, different HTML helpers specifically for forms. And then we saw all different types of controls. We saw loosely typed and strongly typed HTML helpers. Loosely typed is where you will use like a literal, like for example here you would say at HTML.hidden, not hidden for, and you will say album ID. So because album ID is in the model, that's gonna work. But this is called as loosely typed because we are using a string literal here as opposed to actually tying it to the model directly. So this is a more preferred way of doing it. So when we say hidden for, then we invoke the model.album ID. So there's less room for typo and all that. So hidden for is to create hidden inputs. Drop down list is going to be just a pick list, select list. Labels, we saw what those are. We saw how we use the editor. Editors are used in the edit views mostly, to open up fields, and depending upon your type, data type, it automatically renders the control that would be more suited for that data.